Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Her Story Collaborative. My name is Jen Buck, and I'm your host here in the Collab. Now, you all know that I'm all about advocating, activating, and amplifying high-performing women. And that's what the Her Story Collaborative is all about. It's about trailblazing women who are changing their little corner of the world. Now, my next guest is no exception to this. She is doing her best to change her corner of the world. Rachael Amarante is a mother of 4 young boys and the creator of the Awakening Motherhood Project. She helps mothers restore their joy and confidence after feeling as though they've poured into everyone else except themselves. She shares simple, actionable ways to find joy and confidence in the chaos of our lives. She gives tips, recipes, and the importance of, getting away from that perfection that plagues all of us. She believes that together we have the power to recreate ourselves in motherhood and that women are meant to be. Holy moly, Rachael, I'm so excited for this. Welcome to the collab.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so right out of the gate, I know I look at all of the women around me, many of whom are still knee deep in motherhood, trying to do the schooling and trying to do, the business and building their own entrepreneurship. I mean, it's just juggling so much.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know about this Awakening Motherhood Project because I know so many women who need this right now.
Well, that was me. That was me. For the past probably 5 years of my life, I spent time building in a really amazing business that filled a lot of my buckets. It got me away from maybe all the masculinity in my house for a hot minute. And it checked a lot of those things in my soul that I was really looking for. But after a while, I was getting this nagging feeling in my gut that like something's not right, this is not what you're meant to be doing. And I did not want to listen to that at all. And I think part of it, was we are asked as working mothers, as mothers of multiple children who are on this business journey, how do you do it all?
Yeah.
And I was formed to saying, oh, I don't know, like brushing it off, not making it a big deal. When I had 14 young women who were working in this business with me, and I would get asked that question from them or from others in the media or in the industry. And what I really wanted to say was, oh, no. Like, it's a massive tornado behind me.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't know how I'm doing all of this.
Yeah.
And that started to really eat away at me because I want us to share what's real. It's important that we share what's real because we create such power around the honesty of what motherhood really is and what it looks like, instead of trying to live up to the expectations from society, from our families, from our world, and from social media and what it's created around motherhood. And so I left that business, and I told myself I had to take 6 months to do nothing other than, raise 4 kids during COVID. But I told myself that I needed to sit and be for a little bit. And I think that that's really important when I talk about how the Awakening Motherhood came about and why I believe in it so wholeheartedly, is because when I took that time, now it doesn't have to be 6 months. I was very grateful to have that time to do that. But even just to sit with yourself and ground down, teach yourself to ground down and listen to your soul to make decisions instead of listening to the hustle or the hurry or the everybody else in the world. And when I did that, I was able to really find what I'm called to do. And because I'm doing that now, I know that I can't burn out. I know that the ladder doesn't have to be one way for me. And I think that that's what women and mothers specifically struggle with, is because we have this, we are constantly having to pivot and transform. And especially when we don't want to, and we sort of lose that identity of that girl we were before we had kids.
Yes.
And when we have children, we don't really know who we are for a little while. And then when we get that 45-minute window where we can start figuring that out because they're taking a nap or they're in Montessori or whatever the case might be, then we're like, oh, wait a second. Like, oh, I am someone back here.
Yeah.
And and then we start rolling, right? We start hurrying and we start hustling and we start building businesses and we go back to work or whatever the case might be. But um, my mission is to help restore the joy and confidence in women who have poured themselves into everybody else except for themselves.
Yeah.
And I want us to feel powerful, and I want our kids to see that power in us.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah. I love it. We've always you know, I would say in business, especially, but in the balance of motherhood, whether that is, taking care of the kids at home or while you're balancing a career, right? But
Yeah.
then also having to bring more into the balance with your own health, your own peace of mind,
Yes.
your own social life, all of the things that make us whole. And I think that for a lot of us, this hustle culture, this idea that, and I don't want to really shit on a certain, platform or even a time in life. But the truth is, when we look at, for instance, the social media world of Instagram in particular, which by the way, I love, it's really hard because social media only shows you the highlights, right? Social media only shows you the perfection.
Yep.
And so I remember when I was growing up, I used to always hear about, the duck that was always gliding across the water, but yet under the water.
Oh, right. You couldn't see them.
And now, because I speak to women, I always say it's the Swan Syndrome. So not only is it that we have to be going, but on top of the water, we have to look beautiful.
Look beautiful.
It's beauty now. It's not just being a duck, it's being a swan. And that's so much pressure. And I don't know how women do it, but I can tell you the number one question I get from women is, can women have it all? Can I have it all?
I think that we can. I think that we can if we start by grounding down into ourselves and our souls and tune out everybody else. When you are making decisions for yourself, when you're making decisions for your health, when you're making decisions for your kids and for your marriage, that your decisions and your choices come from within you and not from what you see on the exterior.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and I have to say about Instagram, which I'm a lover of as well, I have found a really good cohort of women who share what's real.
Love.
And I'm really, really grateful for that. And I only share what's real on my social media. And I think that it's important that women, especially maybe women who are coming after us, perhaps, or, sitting in the middle someplace, see the realness and look, like, I am not going to sugarcoat motherhood or, hormones in woman, being a woman and like all that. But I'm also not going to say that it's like, horrible and make jokes about it being horrible, because I think that it is such a powerful privilege that we have to create the future. And I am everything that I am because I have my 4 boys.
Yeah.
And that has made me who I am. And the universe needs me to be this woman and to go forward and to, get bigger and keep on going. And that's what the universe needs of all of us.
Yeah.
So whether we sugarcoat it, make it perfect, or whether we joke about it and make it sound horrible, I think there's we need something in between,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And when I think about, sort of the women who come to me and when they ask me, can women have it all? I think it's really just identifying what matters most to you and getting really clear on that. Right. And I may not be able to have it all in the same capacity that I had it before. I may not be able to spend as much time in one space as I do another, but it doesn't mean I need to start eliminating and cutting off all the parts of me that are important to me in order to serve everybody else. Right.
And two, on the other hand, how about what I would actually ask that person or whoever that is back, what does having it all mean to you? Because maybe that's different than what it means to me. Right. And, the woman next to you and the woman over there. And I think that if we start accepting that about one another as women, that is where our power and our collaborations can come from.
Yes.
But we're not all on the same journey.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Not at all. I have a stepdaughter, and I say that so it's hard for me to say those words because I don't think of her as my step. I've been in her life for over half of her life, and she was a very little girl, and she's lived with us, and I adore her, and she's a mini me, I think she's incredible, and we have a really special relationship. So I never call her step, but I did for you, just to kind of make this point here, that I realized that when women come to me about how do you have it all kind of stuff, I realize that I'm coming from a different place, right? And
Yes,
I'm
true.
not juggling
That's
4
fair.
boys. I'm not at home right now with a child having to teach them while I keep all of the other balls in the air. And so I have such gratitude for women who are out there and truly doing it all, because I have,
agree.
and it sounds weird to say this, but I had the privilege that a part-time parent has, and has had, whatever. The point is, I've also got this really extraordinary relationship with this beautiful 24-year-old who I get to be, looked upon as her mom. And she's also got an extraordinary mother. But I realize I come from a place of privilege. And so I have to step very carefully when I have this conversation.
I totally agree. And what I would say in talking to you is, like, your journey is going to have its own struggles that mine might not. I completely agree with you about the privilege piece. When I said earlier, I was able to sit and remove myself from that job that I had, that is a privilege.
Yeah.
For me to be able to have that time. Yes, I had 4 kids that I was coming home to take care of, but I did not have to worry about the finances in that time of my life. And that is a privilege.
Yes.
And I recognize that completely. Well, I have my own struggles and issues. I think that part of it is not comparing our journey to anybody else's, being able to share what we can and our knowledge, and also being able to listen and learn from the women around us who might need us, who might reach out, who might have done what you did before. And so learn from them. And so those are the things that I think are really important as a community of women and mothers that we should be doing for each other.
Absolutely. And I think we kind of got away from that. I feel like, and I may be wrong about this, but I feel like, so I'm older than you are. And so when I look at my friends and what they used to talk about, the competitiveness, and I don't know if we're out of it. So I'm actually asking you about this. The level of competitiveness, the conversations around the drop-offs, the clothing conversations, the ring conversations, the hair, the makeup, just to drop the kid off when someone else is like scratching, sleep out of their eyes. That seems to be something that I feel like is falling away, because I look at the women in your generation. So, you're the next generation behind me. There is this extraordinary awareness, wisdom, collaboration that's happening among your generation that I'm like, oh my God, we all missed out on this.
I think that those are all the good people and the good women who are taking what we have learned from social media and society for maybe the last 15 years and taking that to transform it into something that's positive. And I think that we're on our way there. And I also believe that you get to a point, I don't know, but for me, I got to a point where I'm like, oh, so maybe those aren't my people then. Maybe I just need to find my people. And now that I have, in real life and in social media and through Clubhouse and in my family, that they aren't the people that are the comparing and the, whatever. They are the supportive, like to the death of whatever is best for you and your marriage and your kids. And so I highly recommend, wherever you are in your motherhood journey and whatever time you have for yourself or not, if you don't have supportive, have your back, can see you on your worst day type of women in your life, then you should find some new ones. And you're welcome to join. Anyone can join mine. And I think that that's really important, because we need each other. We need each other.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So you were talking about grounding earlier, and I think that's really important to understand what grounding down looks like. Is it an inventory of self? Is it looking at, your health or your balance? Is it going and literally grounding in the earth? What is that to you?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. It might be a combination of those. And for me, I needed it really, really badly. So I like really grounded down, and I call it, I wintered. I allowed myself to winter for like 3 months, where I did a ton of writing. I did a ton of meditating, which I'm really not good at and I don't love, but I found a way to love it for myself. And I just allowed myself to be more often. I am very loud and animated in my family. And so, when I was angry with my kids, I tried whispering instead. Sometimes I would physically go out into the grass. I have my kids actually do it whenever they're like totally off the wall and just like crazy. I'm like, take a lap. We live on an acre of land. Make sure you're in your bare feet and go run a lap. And they do. And sometimes I do the same, and it works. So I think it's both the physical action, which is a lot of what I talk about. I am all about the like actionable ways to make these small changes, because we can all read. I have all the books of theories of your soul and your parenting and your marriage and betterment, and they're amazing. And I go back to them every year or two. But I need something that's like, read this page and then go do this. And so I think for me, grounding at that time was a combination of all those things. And you can do that in your life without quitting your job, without moving your family to, a desert island somewhere fancy. You can do all those things in your life already. But the impact that it has, if you really commit to it, is pretty amazing.
Yeah. This is such important stuff. We are imprinting every day what normal looks like, right? And I know that for me, and this is nuttiness that I, of course, now realize as an adult, that I'm exactly like my mom was in that the things she hated, the things she loved, the chores and practices to her that were like, oh,
totally, me too.
I am exactly her. And it was all of a sudden a huge wake-up call to me when I was talking about something recently, and it had to do with shopping. And it was about the amount of distance I had to walk from the parking spot to the door determined whether I liked a certain kind of shopping at a certain kind of store. And all of a sudden I said it, and I was like, oh, my mom used to say that. And I all of a sudden started doing the inventory and realizing, oh my gosh, I don't like to cook at night because my mom didn't like to cook at night. And I don't like to go grocery shopping like for mundane stuff because she hated to do it. And I love to fold because I put my hands in the warm laundry, and this is my thing, to just sit and smell it. I love to fold laundry. My mom loved to fold. And it was like, wham, I became my mom. So we are imprinting every day.
Absolutely. And that is another big thing I talk about. Mine's always Christmas. My mom made Christmas amazing. And I love Christmas, and I still do. And I make it amazing for my kids. But I remember every year she would just like haul ass, and we'd be like flipping the furniture around Christmas Eve after one party ended and the next began, and she would be stressed and it wouldn't be fun. And then between Christmas and New Year's, she would get sick every year. And I started doing that a couple of years ago. And then I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. I really love Christmas, and I want to sit here and enjoy it with my kids. So maybe I'm not going to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Christmas Day. Maybe we're going to do takeout, And so I agree that like some of those things, and even now with the grounding and the practices and the things that we do to better ourselves, are setting our kids up in hopes of a better generation, so that they can find their joy and confidence a lot simpler than we had it. And every generation is going to do something different, and then I'm screwing my kids up somehow. I just don't know how yet. Like we're all going to do the best we can, and then at the end of the day, it's all a shit show anyway. So we just do the best we can.
No, 100. And I think that's really what it's about too, is taking some of the pressure off. I'm going to screw up. There's no question. I've said stuff I shouldn't have.
Letting our kids see that and talking about that makes it normal. And so I talk about my failures as much as my successes in my world with my kids. And that's so important that we do that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love it. I love everything about you. And I actually think you and I would probably get along really, really well in the real world
Yeah, we
because
totally would.
everything you're talking about and even the way you're talking about it and sort of the patterns you have so similar. So I want to go
Yeah.
when you're talking and raise my hand and me to it,
Yeah.
But I love what you're doing. And I think that you're doing it right. You're doing it right when
Thank
it
you.
comes to, being able to be aware and be, really awoken to
Yeah.
what balance and happiness and joy and health,
Yeah.
really healthy, balanced people should be, do,
Yeah.
have, and share. I mean, like you're nailing it. And I just love
Yeah.
it.
I mean, it's definitely experiment every day. I'm
Sure.
not like, if people ask me, or if you ask my friends, like, oh, can you, describe Rachel? They wouldn't be like, she's the happiest person I know. Like that. I'm not. I'm much more of a realist. But I think that there is so many more benefits to changing your perspective just that much,
Mhm.
to the grateful side, the joyful side, I'm still a hustler. I
Sure.
just do it in a way that makes sense for my life right now. And I don't put the pressure of myself on that. I think as women, we have struggled with for so long, this
Yeah.
one ladder of success,
Yeah.
and that we had to do it all in order to have that success. I think that that's slowly changing, and I want to be there to help change it.
Yeah. I love it. And I love, by the way, your acknowledgement of the seasons. We do go
Yeah.
through those wintering times where we have to get quiet, get deep, get into that sort of protected, think polar bear space, right?
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
spring does come and
Yes,
we
it
start
does.
planting and we start building, and then summer comes and we get to charge through
Yeah.
and fully go for it, and then reshape again and start to
Mhm.
drop things that aren't working in fall. And I just love your whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And if we
fan.
allow ourselves to feel that way,
Mhm.
we're letting our kids know it's okay to have grief
Yeah.
or anger or frustration. And
Yeah.
when we allow ourselves to sit there, like, the universe changes our path for a reason. Like when we're sitting in those spaces that don't feel that great,
Yeah.
those are the times that we are forced to pivot,
Yeah.
right? And then 5 years down the road, you'll be like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's why that happened. All right, all right. And
Yeah.
you're in this crazy, amazing space, right? And
Right.
and if everything was going well all the time, you would just stay this secular little path your
Yeah.
whole life. And how boring would that be?
Yeah.
You
100.
know? Yeah.
Totally. Love it. Okay. I'm shooting some speed round questions at you because I think
Okay.
that I love the depth that you have going on here. And I just would love to learn more about you. So 10 questions, just going to throw them your way. Just answer whatever comes
Yes.
to you in the moment. Okay. So if you think about who you would like to spend an hour with, a woman from history, or it could be your life, it could be someone way out there, but who would you
Yeah.
like to spend an hour with on a park bench?
Okay. Okay, this might be a little odd, but Hedy Lamarr. And I say that because and it depends on the day. Whenever you ask me, I would be a different answer.
Yeah.
But today would be Hedy Lamarr. I just read an amazing book about her life, and she is this crazy, beautiful Hollywood actress who then actually created this radio signaling device to like stop the Nazis. And
Yeah.
they still use it today. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, she is the epitome of a woman who is doing it all. And
Yeah.
I love that about her.
Yeah. I was so
Yeah.
shocked to hear that too. What a
Yeah.
brilliant woman. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yes.
love it.
Mhm.
So, where is your favorite place that you've ever traveled to in the world?
Oh, God, can I have a couple? Okay, I would
Yeah.
say London for sure.
Love.
Santa Barbara. I want to
Mm,
live there. Love
yeah.
Santa Barbara, and Disney World. I love Disney World.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We're going to Santa Barbara in January. I'm from,
Oh,
yeah.
oh my gosh. Okay, we need to chat about all the places to go because yeah,
Yeah.
it's my
Yeah.
favorite
I'm
spot.
from California, but Southern California. And so
Yeah.
we, yeah, would do like drives up the coast to Santa Barbara.
Oh
It's magic
God,
up
it's my
there.
favorite. Yeah, it is magic. It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's definitely the bucket list place to live. Without,
Yes, I
unless it's going to be
agree.
Spain for me. It would definitely.
We've had a lot of my husband and I have had a lot of conversations about how we could make Santa Barbara work for our
Yeah.
life for sure.
I'll eat top ramen forever if I can.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
uh-huh,
Yeah.
totally.
Mhm. So if you were given $1 million and you needed to give it away to some type of nonprofit organization, a cause of your choice, who would that be for you? Or what would that be for you?
Yeah, it would definitely, that's a really easy one. It would be an education-based nonprofit. I
Nice.
think that our kids whether it's, inner city or, my own children getting involved somehow, that our children's education and the kind of reformation of that is really important to me.
Yeah, I love it. And especially through COVID, I've said to
Yeah.
so many people that, we need to be paying these teachers
Yes.
hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Yes.
We've got to get our values straight.
Yep.
These
I
nurses
agree.
and teachers,
I agree.
we are expecting way too much from them.
Yep.
And they're the most
And they're
important people in
burning
our
out.
society.
They're the
Yeah.
women and the mothers who are burning out.
And they're the
Yes.
most important people in our
Yes.
society. And I
Yes.
believe that
100%.
over all the other things, teachers and nurses for me.
Yep.
That's,
Yep.
yeah,
I agree.
totally. So I'm not looking for both answers here, but you can give me both if you want. But
Okay.
do you have a favorite book or a favorite podcast?
Okay. Book, The Great Gatsby.
Oh, yes.
Read it. Yes. Read it in high school and I just adore it. I've read it, many times since then.
Yes.
And then podcast, I go through waves. I love the Goop podcast.
Yeah.
I get tons of good information from there. So yeah, I would have to say that one.
Good.
Yeah.
And what's one quirky or wacky fact about you that other people may not know?
Okay. Okay. So I think probably the combination of these things makes it a little quirky.
Yeah.
I love a good F-bomb.
Yeah.
I'm really vintage at heart. Like I love vintage clothing and household things. So if I lived in the 60s, like that's my jam.
Yep.
And I love a good theme party, but I want to be home and in bed by 10.
Oh, really?
Oh, and I love 90s rap. So like all those things,
Yeah.
makes me who
I
I
love
am.
it all. I love it all. Yeah. I too cuss like a sailor.
Yes.
But it's not unintentional. I use my curse words, whatever they are, incredibly intentionally. I love language. And so I love throwing those in. I'm also an absolute lover of costumes, all costumes.
Oh my God. We would totally have so much fun. Me and my girlfriends do a real mean costume party. Yeah.
Do you? We do Halloween here and we go all the way. Like,
yes. Okay. We're going to have to connect about Halloween after this because maybe we'll get some ideas from each other from past.
Yeah. It's killing me not to have one this year. And we didn't have one last year. And we're talking about DJs and people and we love it. Love. Okay. So if you could have any superpower, what would you want?
If I could have anyone, I think I would fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know why, it's funny. My boys ask me this question, because they're, 4, 8, 9, and 10. So they ask me this question a lot. And I used to always say, like long ago, maybe in my 20s, that I'd like to be a fly on a wall. And I want to know if people are talking about me. I want to know other conversations. And now I'm like, oh, actually, I don't want to know any of that. Like I'm good. I'm good who I am. That's fine. So I think I'd like to fly. I'd like to get to Santa Barbara whenever I feel like it.
Sure. Absolutely. Sure. So speaking of things, not people, I want to make sure I clarify this because some people have a different reaction.
Yeah.
What's your most treasured item that you own?
My wedding ring, for sure. It is a combination of my husband's, both of his grandmothers. So it's very vintage. So I would say that. And then I have a necklace that I wear every day. That's from my grandmother.
Beautiful. Funny that the things that are most important to me there are things that I received from my grandparents.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah.
Because they really know a lot of things. Sit down with an elderly person, man, any day. And they have so much wisdom for us, I swear.
Yeah, for sure. What is your theme song going to be when you are strutting on stage to get ready to speak in front of 25,000 women who have come to see you? What's your song?
Okay, this is a good one. And I say Wilson Phillips, Hold On, because it's a very real song. It's not like it's not the power song. It's not the song I work out to necessarily, but it's definitely like, this is who I am. And it's a very universal song too. And it's my girlfriends and I love that one together.
It's a goodie. It's a goodie. What's one big thing you want to accomplish before you're done with this chapter of your life?
Publish my book.
Yay. And we're going to talk about that because it's coming up.
Yes.
Coming up. Awesome.
Yes.
What's the best word to describe you?
My husband calls me vivacious. And at first I'm like, that's very Marilyn Monroe of you. Like, can we not? That's not who I am. And he looked it up one time in the dictionary and it was actually very accurate to who I am, like a little animated,
Mhm.
a little loud,
Yep.
super authentic. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take
Take
vivacious.
it. Yeah. It's a great word. Yeah. 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 So finish this sentence. When I'm really, really old, I hope to see.
My boy's happy and to have lived a life that I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I
Mhm.
would agree with that. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Rachel, I adore you. I just think you are a kick-ass
This
woman.
was so
And
fun.
I'm really glad that we got a chance to meet. I kind of already knew that this was going to happen just based on
Yeah.
the interactions that we've had. But yeah, you're a rad chick, and I'm happy to have met you.
Thanks. I know, right back at you.
Yeah, thanks. So
I know, I
tell me
love it.
where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Rachael_Amarante. That will be the best place. I have a link tree in there that links to, I have a private Facebook community where I go live once a week. We talk about the realness of motherhood. It's a very safe space to do that. You can link to my website, and things like that. See what else I have going on. So I would say that would be the best place to find me for sure.
Awesome. And tell them about the book.
Yes. Okay. So I'm publishing a book and it will be coming out in fall of 2022. So that's really exciting.
Totally.
In total, like crunch writing right now.
Yeah.
It will be my first book, nonfiction. And it's talking about all this stuff we're talking about. I want to create these actionable ways. I, again, have sat in my bed at night, scribbling away ideas and highlighting passages of books for so long that I'm like, I actually need some action out of this. And so I'm creating something that I really needed in my life. And I know that other mothers will really benefit from that. And I hope that you guys will continue following my story.
I love it. I love it. Everybody
Yeah.
connect with her. You
Thank you.
really are doing it. And I'm just so glad that I got a chance to talk to you and hear your thoughts behind it and share you with my universe here,
I
because
know.
we are just a bunch of women who are kicking ass. And yet behind the scenes, a lot of us are struggling. Right.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so you just made it so real. And I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have been here. I love being a part of your community. It means the world. It really
Awesome.
does.
Thank you. Thank you. And to everybody listening and viewing, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, 100 Angels. 100 Angels is a nonprofit organization who helps families who are struggling. They help with child health care, with clothing, food. They help with attorney's fees or any type of legal issues that may be happening. They make sure that these families are being cared for and provided for. And if you're interested in learning more about 100 Angels, they are an extraordinary group of people, and you can find them at 100angels.org. So on that, Rachel, have a kick-ass day, friend. Good to meet
Thank
you.
you.
All
Mwah.
right.
Thanks for
See you
having
later.
me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.